Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Psalms, the 44th chapter. To the chief musician for the sons of Korah, Maskil. Let's look at this in the NLT. It says here, for the choir director, a psalm of the descendants of Korah. Okay. We have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old. Right, and today, we don't hear it from our fathers, but we read it through the scriptures, right, which is like another way of hearing the testimonies of our forefathers of the works the Lord did of old. How thou didst drive out the heathen with thy hand and plantest them, right? Basically, the Lord, drove out the Canaanites from the land and plantest Israel in the land. How thou didst afflict the people and cast them out. Okay, and once again, driving them out. And so we could take over their land. For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, right? It wasn't by our own strength that we were able to take over the land. Neither did their own arm save them, right? Not our own power. It wasn't our power that delivered us, but thy right hand and thine arm, which, when you think of somebody's right hand, most people are right hand dominant, right? But when you think of the right hand of the Lord, you're thinking of his power. But manifestly, that right hand is, it's a representation of Yahweh Shai, who is his right hand man or his right hand messenger that he sends, to get things done. And he sent Yahweh Shai to go before us, to guide us and lead us, and to deliver us, right? To give us that guidance in the wilderness, to protect us and to lead us into the promised land. And the light of thy countenance, meaning your light of your face, because thou hast or hadst a favor unto them, right? So the Lord was a guiding light to us, or as the context is here, our forefathers, leading them into the land. Thou art my king, O God, command deliverances for Jacob, right? And the Lord many times has commanded deliverances for us. And again, now, yet the greatest deliverance in this time, right? And from this modern day Egypt, which here known in the scriptures is America. It says, through thee will we push down our enemies. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us. So it shows we're going to need the name of the Lord, right? It's through the Lord's power that we have, dominion and power over our enemies, because he fights for us. So he is our strength. Okay, and that's why they said that, or it's written that way in verse 5. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me, right? I'm not going to trust in carnal weapons. But thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that that hated us. Right, so those that hate us, because those that hate us, which are likened unto our enemies, and when it comes time for judgment, what's going to happen? The Lord is going to preserve us and deliver us, and they're going to be destroyed, right? They're going to be brought down, and subjected under us. In God we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever, Selah. But thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our armies. See, so here it goes into, how the Lord delivered our forefathers, right, and how he's been with us and delivered us many times. But then also it goes into the periods of time where the Lord withdrew himself from us. And that was because of our wickedness. Our sins separated the Lord from us. See, so verse 9, it says, but thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our armies, right, as in to go to war. Because how do we win our wars? Because we have the Lord with us. Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves, right? So you make us retreat before our enemies, that our enemies may have a spoil of us. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, basically like sheep as a prey to the predator, right? Wolves, lions, bears, and has scattered us among the heathen. That goes back to, the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. For our disobedience, the Lord, through different, calamities and situations, had us scattered amongst the heathen. Thou sellest thy people for naught, and dost not increase thy wealth by their price. Meaning that when the Lord, sold us, so to speak, into captivity, it wasn't because he was trying to make merchandise off us. It's kind of like, when you're trying to get rid of something you don't really care about the price. It's just like, yo, fine, if I gotta charge you, just give me like $2. Meanwhile, it's worth a lot more. So when you sell your people for naught, meaning the Lord, matter of fact, let's go real quick to the book of Baruch, the 4th chapter, right? Baruch 4 and 6. Ye were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath, ye were delivered unto your enemies. So the Lord delivered us to our enemies and sold us to the nations, not because he wanted money, but as a punishment for us. Okay. Verse 13, thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, right, which are the heathens round about us, a scorn and derision to them that are round about us. And that's what we are, right? People look, even though, in the back of their minds, they know, right, the power of the Israelites, but mostly we're looked at as a reproach. When you look at the main image or stereotypes centered around Israelites, it's what? Violent, ratchet, unruly, criminals, gangbangers, TGs, moles. It's not anything to speak well of. As a nation, that is. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people, right? That's like a disgrace. You look down, we're looked down upon amongst the heathen, and the people were scattered amongst. My confusion is continually before me. Let's look at that word confusion. Right, disgrace. It's not more so like I don't know what's going on, but insult, reproach. So I'm constantly reproached. I'm constantly disgraced. As it says, it's continually before me, and the shame of my face hath covered me. For the voices of him that reproacheth and blasphemeth, right, which is to insult or speak injuriously speak injuriously against another, by reason of the enemy and avenger. And this is all because the Lord left us. Okay, and why did he leave us? Because of our transgressions. So we had to suffer this at the hands of our enemies, right? By the reason of the enemy and the avenger. All this has come upon us, yet have we not forgotten thee. Right? Going back to Baruch chapter 2, verse I'll just go down. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. Hence the Lord took his presence away from us for a period of time. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. See? So the Lord brought that remembrance back to us, as it says, going back to Psalm 44, yet have we not forgotten thee, neither have we dealt falsely in thy covenant. And this is mainly dealing with the righteous, right? Because technically speaking, we did break the covenant, but the scriptures mention that the righteous are without fault before the Lord, right? They're blameless. They are the ones that came back, right, or are coming back to the ways of the Lord and holding that fast. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way, right? So we still desire your way. We still cling on to the paths of righteousness. We have sought out the old paths. Though thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons and covered us with the shadow of death, okay, which is describing, the place of dragons and the shadow of death is describing the affliction. Okay, in the NLT it says, you have crushed us in the jackal's desert home. You have covered us with darkness and death, right? Is basically making us destitute. If we have forgotten the name of our God, or stretched out our hands to a strange God, shall not God search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. So he's saying, it's saying here, Lord, if we had turned aside and laid hold on idols, would you not have known it? Because you know what's within. Even if we try to cover it by saying, our actions and saying things contrary, you already know what's in our minds. Yea, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep to the slaughter. Paul might have quoted this. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, Romans 8 and 36, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep to the slaughter, or for the slaughter. Right? So we are at the mercy, really, of the Lord. because we're hated in this world, persecuted. Why? For the Lord's sake. And quite literally, at during the time of the, shortly after Yahushua left, you had the Christians, the believers, which were constantly persecuted. There was a persecution that was going on for hundreds of years. Okay, until you had eventually the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, as they call it. You had certain emperors that made edicts, to put an end to the persecution against Christians. Verse 23: Awake, why sleepest thou, O Lord? Arise, cast us not off forever. See, so come to our defense, Lord. Don't sleep on us, right? Don't don't leave us out here to fend for ourselves. Don't cast us off forever. And now we can see that the Lord is what? He's calling us back. He's drawing us near unto him again. Wherefore hidest thou thy face? Why? And forgettest our affliction and our oppression. So why would you, don't cast us off forever? Why should you hide your face from us? And as it were, forget our affliction and oppression and leave us in this misery. For our soul is bowed down to the dust. Our belly cleaveth unto death, right? We have basically been brought low to the point of death, right? We collapse in the dust, lying face down in the dirt. That's being brought low in all forms. And that's what happened to us, right? We were brought down to the ground, quite literally. Okay, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Arise for our help and redeem us for thy mercy's sake. And we're in the time of that redemption, okay, where the Lord is about to have mercy on us. And I mean, we're very close, okay, to the point where all this, right, is no longer it's going to be like a bad dream. And we're going to have that joy forevermore. Right? Thanks be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. And that brings us to the end of the book of Psalms, the 44th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Brachah, Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.